All right, it says we are live. Welcome, everybody. We are so glad to be back with you after a 2-week hiatus. We missed everybody. Missed being here with you, Mike.
Missed being here with you, Lori.
We are really glad to be back just for that final push for the end of the semester. We are so close, and we're excited to be this close. And today, Mike, we're just switching things up a little bit. Today, Mike has the quote of the day. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike.
All right. So the quote of the day today is from Aldous Huxley, the author of Brave New World and other critical works like Brave New World Revisited. And he said, I wanted to change the world, but I have found I'm going to start over. I wanted to change the world, but I have found that the only thing one can be sure of changing is oneself. Sometimes others have thoughts or feelings about us. Sometimes others' actions impact us. We can influence others and we can hope to help others, but we can only change ourselves. The way that we might change the world could be through our own actions and through our own influences. Huxley's works are some of the most important in American literature and have had a lasting impact upon generations and numerous other authors. What will be your impact, and how do you start taking daily steps to make that impact? Don't let anyone derail you on a worthy cause. Recently, I learned this, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay in that course. I think about my core values. We all think about our core values. And it's important to remember what those things are and to stay focused and to stay on task and to not allow any number of detracting voices to take us away from what's a worthy cause.
Yeah, Mike, that is so good. That is such a good reminder for us all. And really, when we want to make big changes, we can make the first step of that big change in changing ourselves, changing the way we view the world, changing the way we respond when people are maybe unkind to us or say unkind things. It's such an important thing. I also love this, Mike, in that it's very yogi. You knew I was going to go there.
I tried.
You knew I was going to go there. But I teach yoga every Sunday, and I've been really encouraging all of my yoga clients to, in this time where we're all kind of shuttered away, we're all being encouraged to keep our distance, stay away, go to work, go home, don't do a lot of other things. I've encouraged them to really go inside and think about that. Think about how can I change the world by changing myself? What is it that I can do to make the world a better place? By really working on myself. And that's how, if we all do that, we can all make big changes, not only in our corner of the world, but across the world. It's that ripple effect. So, all right, I have the first update. So thanks again, Mike. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to remind us some COVID reminders. I know maybe we're all getting tired of hearing about those COVID reminders, but they're so important. And because we have done so well on this campus at making sure we're following all of the procedures and the guidelines from CDC and Eastern Idaho Public Health, we've been able to stay open all semester, which is really a huge feat and something we should all be really proud about. So all the regular reminders, be sure you are washing your hands a lot, using the disinfectant dispensers that are around campus. Make sure that you're wearing your mask when you're not eating. And certainly when you're in close contact with other people, or just wearing your mask all the time when you're on campus. I'm going to put mine on as soon as I finish talking. And also making sure you're keeping that 6 feet physical distancing. By doing all of those things in combination, making sure that you are not gathering in large groups, we are able to keep our campus open and safe. And so thank you for everything you've already done this semester. Keep it up, and we will stay open.
Thanks, Lori. Another reminder, you may remember that you received an email from me last week that we are doing COVID testing for anyone that's on campus that is not symptomatic. So let's say that you are sick. You can still go to any number of places locally to get testing, drive-through testing, if you have symptoms. But if you don't have any symptoms, but you're wondering if maybe you're asymptomatic, please come get the test. Bring in your insurance information, or just bring in your ID and social security card. It's free that way. And we will have testing, free testing. Again, if you bring in your ID and social security card, or bring in your health insurance information if you're an employee. in room 593 in building 5 from 8:30 to 10 tomorrow. That's Tuesday, December 1st. So we are offering that testing. We wanted to do that post Thanksgiving in case people came in contact and then became symptomatic. So remember, that's tomorrow, December 1st, 8:30 to 10, room 593. Any affiliated CEI folks, students, staff, faculty, etc., are welcome. So thank you.
And something to remember too is last time we asked you to sign up, but you don't have to sign up. You can just show up. Yeah, you don't need to send an email to anybody. Just show up in that room and we will get you tested. So hopefully you'll come and do that.
I will be doing the testing.
Me too.
So
For sure.
we're setting an example.
We are.
Don't forget about the student.concern@CEI email address. Basically, this is if you know somebody who's dealing with some kind of a stressful concern, like they are food insecure, they're housing insecure, they're really needing some extra help in class. If you're a faculty member and you feel like one of your students needs some extra help in some capacity and you don't know how to provide that, or they're not really reaching out to you, that's another resource. If you're a student and you know of another student who's struggling in any way, that's a good email. Send an email to student.concern@cei.edu, and one of our care team members will help address the concern. And also don't forget, if you have COVID symptoms, the email for that is covid@cei.edu. We would really like you to report any of those kinds of COVID-related concerns or symptoms to that email, and our contact tracers will help address those situations.
All right, thank you, Mike. And I'm just going to revisit the testing that's happening tomorrow. Something that maybe some people are kind of a little bit scared or concerned to come get the testing. Maybe you've heard that the testing is awful. So we've come a long way with the testing. So I don't mean to be gross here, but so it's a swab, and they will take a swab and they put it in you actually get to do it yourself. Somebody else doesn't do it for you, and you don't have to stick it up way far, so it doesn't hurt. It's very quick. You get to do it yourself. So please, please, please take advantage. It's a pretty amazing thing that we have, that this is coming to the campus for testing. So don't come if you're afraid it's going to hurt or you don't know what to expect. It's super simple, doesn't hurt, painless, quick, in and out, and you're good to go. And then you'll know whether you're an asymptomatic carrier or not.
And we may live stream Lori's testing process.
Only if we can live stream. All right. So our mental health counseling center is open for business. We are so excited. We have a new director, Haley Holland. She is raring to go. She's available for in-person but physically distanced appointments. She will also provide Zoom appointments if needed, if you feel more comfortable having an appointment that way. Just make sure if you need help that you're not just suffering in silence. Make sure that you either come see Haley in a face-to-face appointment, or if you're concerned about coming on campus, you can schedule those by Zoom. To make an appointment, you can visit www.cei.edu/counseling-center, or you can call 208-535-5622. That's 208-535-5622. And I see I have gotten my website reading privileges back. So hopefully I won't bungle those, right? I was doing a terrible job. So I've built that trust. Thank you, Mike.
I might put those up at the end too, just for additional reference.
Probably a good idea.
The new Falcon Food Pantry is open. We have more details next week. If you have any questions, please contact the Center for New Directions at 208-535-5363.
All right, so just some early college updates. Early college students taking spring concurrent enrollment classes. The fees portion of your bill is due by December 11th. That's December 11th. Well, not the tuition, but those fees portion that every student has to pay, whether you're early college or not. The Advanced Opportunities Portal is open for spring semester funding requests. If early college students have questions about their bill or need help with the Advanced Opportunities Funding Portal, please contact the Early College Office at 208-535-5309, or you can email C as in Connie, P as in praise, I don't know, ecp@cei.edu.
I really enjoyed that.
Can't come up with a word.
Tuition and fee deadline is December 11th for spring semester 2020 or 2021. Sorry, it's a new year.
Yay.
So December 11th, late fees will be added to unpaid balances after the deadline. Payment plans are available and are now even more convenient. Students can enroll in payment plan and make payments through self-service. Follow these easy steps to sign up for a payment plan. First, go to CEI Student Self-Service and click on the Student Finance tab and click Make a Payment. Second, log into the Payment Center using your CEI username and password. Third, in the Payment Center, click on Enroll in a Payment Plan option, and then select the term that you're enrolling and complete the enrollment process.
All right, thanks, Mike. So College of Eastern Idaho is pleased to introduce e-refund, which is a secure, convenient, and fast way to get your refund. That sounds like a commercial.
You do.
If you would like to use e-refund, which is also direct deposit for your financial aid refunds or other refunds, you can sign up today. By signing up for e-refund, you will get the following benefits: convenience, no more waiting for the mail, then making an extra trip to the bank to deposit your check. Also security. Direct deposit eliminates the possibility your check will be lost in the mail or stolen. Not that that happens that often, but it is a possibility.
Can be.
And you won't have your check returned to us as undeliverable if there's a problem with your address. It's also quick. You receive your refund faster than a traditional paper check. So be sure you check out that e-refund today. We are very, very excited about that. And hopefully all of you guys will start utilizing it. It's good for you. It's good for the college.
It is. So how to get your refund, sign up through Yeah. I didn't put punctuation there.
Can you do that again?
I'll try again.
No, I mean, can you do the,
Ah.
yeah, there we go. That's what I was talking about.
How to get your e-refund. Sign up for your e-refund through CEI Student Self-Service. By signing up, you can get e-refunds deposited directly into your bank account. Go to the CEI Student Self-Service Finance tab and click Make a Payment. Log into the Payment Center using your username and password. Payment Center, click on Electronic Refunds option, complete the verification process, and provide your bank information. We've sent this to you before in an email, but we really want to stress how important it is. You'll get an email notification that your refund's been processed and transferred into your bank account. And then once it's deposited in your bank account, it'll take 3 to 4 business days, depending upon your bank's process for receiving funds. Please make sure that your refund is in your account before you try to use the money. If for any reason your bank won't accept the funds, we'll let you know. If you change bank accounts or banks, remember you need to update that bank information in self-service. If you don't set up an e-refund account, you'll be mailed a paper check to the mailing address that we have that's current on file at CEI in self-service.
So make
This
sure
method-
that's up to date. Sorry.
Yes, every semester
yeah.
update your
Yes.
mailing address. This method can take 7 to 10 business days depending on the postal service. And it's just better for everyone all around to sign up for e-refund. So you'll receive an email once that's been mailed if you go that way. I want to talk about the business office. Actually, Dusty in the business office asked me to share my own personal story with student self-direct deposit. I've had it since forever, whenever I started being a student at BYU Idaho. So I'm really glad that we've started to do this. It was awesome. When I was receiving Pell Grant funds, I had those funds come directly into my bank. I didn't have to worry. I got that deposit immediately. And I've been doing this since 2004, and it's the easiest way to get those funds put into your bank account. And I really like it. I think it's a really easy tool. It's very simple, and it makes it a lot easier for students. I've had lots of students tell me how much better it is when they have e-refund. So I'm really thrilled how much easier it is for us as an institution, and how much easier it is for you as students to get those funds more quickly. And they can be dispersed like at any time. So you don't have to wait for, well, are they open? Can I get my check? Is it processed? It'll just come automatically.
So I have a story. It's a funny story too.
Let's hear
So
this.
When
This is probably funnier than mine.
No, it's not.
really that funny.
But it's not. So it's not so much about e-refund, but it's about direct deposit. So I used to be an instructor at Idaho State University, and I think I was the last instructor on campus to sign up for direct deposit. And they would contact me every semester, and they'd be like, "Lori, don't you want to sign up for direct deposit?" I'd be like, "No, that's going to be hard. It's not secure." I don't know why I was so worried. I'm just old.
This was in the 80s.
I'm old and old school. Anyway, and so every semester, and so finally somebody said, "Lori, what's your concerns with this? Why don't you let me walk you through it?" So I did. I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it. Then you guys will quit contacting me every semester." And I did it. And I was like, wow, why didn't anybody tell me this was so easy and wonderful? So it really, it's not a funny story, but it is. It's the same
kind
thing.
of funny.
I kind of just really resisted like technology. I'm like a late adopter about everything. So
Well, when you do adopt, though, you adopt it very well.
I'm enthusiastic when I do. So I was an evangelist, and now I'm an evangelist for us for direct deposit e-refund. It's really easy. It's really secure. And I think you'll really be happy if you're not using it now.
Yes.
So, all right. So we are so excited today for our special guest. So if you want to go ahead and come on up, our special guest today is Linda Montgomery. She is a very, very special guest, and we are thrilled to have her. Mike was the one who thought about inviting her on. I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't think about it myself because Linda has served as a mentor for me personally, just in my role as vice president, and then also for some doctoral work that I'm doing. So I'm really disappointed in myself that I didn't think about this, and now Mike gets the credit. So
and now they can blame me for all for you. So.
No, but we are thrilled to have Linda Montgomery. She is a former employee of Idaho National Lab for many years. She worked for National Lab as general counsel. And then when she retired, she was director of talent management. Is that correct?
Yeah, knowledge management.
Okay, director of knowledge management at the lab. Brand new retired person, right? Is it even a month yet?
6 weeks.
6 weeks that she has been retired. So we are waiting to see what's going to happen next with Linda. I think she's enjoyed 6 weeks. Maybe she's going to talk to us a little bit about that. Anyway, we're thrilled to have her. We have questions for her. If you have any questions for Linda, you can type them into the chat and we will ask them. So Mike, I don't know if you want to add anything.
I do. I want to add that Linda I have a page of literally like 50,000 awards.
I have no pages. I just had to do this off memory.
So she recently received, I reminded her actually, no, I'm just kidding.
He did.
She recently received the Marquee Lifetime Achievement Award from Who's Who. So only 3% of those in Who's Who receive this kind of an award. But I mean, just to give some reference to what we're listening about and hearing about today, and who we're talking to, Linda's received the Lawyer Monthly Women in Law 2019 Award, the Finance Monthly Public Contract Law Lawyer of the Year Award 2019, INL Laboratory Director Award for Community Service in 2018, the Board of Directors Extreme Blue Thunder, Idaho Falls Blue Angels Air Show, Idaho Falls Air Show Award, Best Air Show of the Year by the U.S. Navy for 2017. And she was on the board of directors for that. National Law Journal 50 Trailblazers in Energy and Environmental Law in 2015. The list goes on and on. She's been the chair and past chair at Museum of Idaho Board of Trustees, which I am on with her. And she actually, we had talked about that and recruited me for it. So I'm very, very thrilled with that because I have an affinity there with the Museum of Idaho. I've always enjoyed it. But a board member at the Idaho Falls YMCA in 2012, International Who's Who of Women. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I can keep going for another 30 minutes on the numbers of awards that Linda's won from the 80s until 2020, and it's quite impressive. I know Linda is Lori's official mentor, but Linda is also a de facto mentor of mine and has provided numerous suggestions and ways and strategies to help build the college and change things and offer guidance. So it's a real treat to have somebody that we really respect and enjoy working with on the show today.
In a word, she's amazing. You are amazing. And something we haven't mentioned is prior to Linda's retirement, she was a dual appointment with INL, and we had her, I don't know.
A year and a half?
Yeah, about a year and a half. So she was working for INL, and she was also providing all of that expertise to College of Eastern Idaho. We were so fortunate to benefit from that for a year and a half, and still benefiting because she's still working with several people on our campus. So it's pretty amazing for our listeners and for us to be able to have her today. So with that, maybe we just want to launch in. It looks like we have some comments.
Oh, we do, yes.
Since we introduced Linda, so I wonder if those are.
Okay, so we had my friend Johnny say, good story. He liked your story earlier.
Oh, no, I think it was your story.
Linda rocks. Yes, she does. Jacinda Moreau. Linda is amazing. And also from John Hierson, everyone up there is amazing and rocks. Let's just be honest.
I agree.
A lot to live up to.
That's right.
So thank you for the comments. Keep them coming.
All right. Do you want to start off the questions? Or you want me to, Mike?
Why don't you?
Okay. All right, Linda. So we know that you have, as Mike was just saying, a storied history with CEI as an alumni and an amazing extensive career. Can you tell us about your background and also congratulations on your retirement?
Thank you.
Yes.
It just means I'm old.
No, that is not true. That is not
No,
true.
one of the things I was going to say, part of the reason why I wanted to get so involved with CEI is that I went to school here. And being a senior manager at INL, I had the opportunity to ask for any school in Idaho to help. And I was very excited about being CEI. So I had mentioned this to Mike, that Eastern Idaho Vocational Technical School, EVITS.
EVITS.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
So I was here in school in 1980, so
Okay.
a long time ago, which tells you that the buildings really are old. But this is my hometown. And when I graduated high school, I was desperate to leave. So I went to Utah and I met this really cute guy, got married, dropped
There's
out
always
of
a guy.
school. Yeah, dropped out of school. He was in the Navy and we went around all over the United States for many years. When he got out of the Navy, I realized I couldn't afford to support our 2-year-old daughter. And so we talked about a lot of things and we decided to come back here and go to school here.
Wow.
And so this was one of the things I was mentioning to Mike, is that this school changed my life.
Wow.
So so I went into the RadCon program, which is still here. And 9 months later, I got a much better paying job at INL. 4 years later, my husband and I quit work, went back to college full time the same day our daughter started kindergarten.
Wow.
So and then wound up going to law school and everything else. But I would tell you that the turning point was coming to this school, and
Wow.
so it makes a really big difference. And there's no better investment than investing in yourself. And so anytime you do education, it's a great investment. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to come back and say to the students, you're doing some of the smartest things you could possibly do in your life by investing in yourself.
I want to point out, Linda actually took advantage of on-campus childcare that existed. And that was one of the ways that it made it possible for her to finish that RadCon program that she did back then, is that at that time, I learned this last week, we had on-campus childcare.
No, it's fantastic.
So I just think that's a really interesting point to see what on-campus childcare can do for a career.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Well,
And
especially
we're
since
moving in that direction, and
Yeah.
that we have the C campus grant now, where we at least have vouchers for people who need it.
Well, and what happened is both, my husband got out of the military and I had been working, but, not a really great paying job. And so both of us went back to school at the same time. So we needed that childcare to be able to do it.
Well, and I think it's interesting. You said there's no better investment than investment in yourself. And it goes right back to Mike's quote that he was talking about, that, if you want to change the world, first change yourself. So
Absolutely.
it's all coming together, and we didn't even plan it.
We're so good.
So the next question, how have you been involved with INL, CEI, and the Museum of Idaho over the years? So this is a gigantic question.
Oh, how long do you have? Well, I think Lori talked a little bit about it. For me, INL is a very exciting place because they're at the cutting edge of innovation.
Right.
And they're a tremendous resource that's in the southeastern Idaho area that increasingly people don't know about. It's that big place and they do mysterious stuff.
Right.
And,
It's like Area 51.
no.
Responsible for the monolith in the Utah desert.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Which has now disappeared.
No aliens,
Southwest
no
took it
mysterious. Yeah, okay. But number one, world leading research. And a lot of people in Idaho don't realize that. Wide variety of research. And so if you have a cell phone, it was probably tested out in the desert in Idaho.
Wow.
If you have an electric car, the battery was developed and tested. We've been doing battery testing for 50 years.
That's
So
amazing.
in nuclear power, first place in the world was here, and we're in the fourth or fifth generation of nuclear power, passively safe. You could walk away and it'll shut itself down.
Wow.
So very cool stuff going on. Invention of a lot of the cybersecurity defense, and so cyber coordination with CI has been really big. So part of it is for me to help people understand what a cool place INL is, but also how our community can leverage the expertise that's out there. The people that are there are very generous. They live in this community. They care about the community.
It's true.
And they just don't know how to help. And so just trying to bring those things together has been really gratifying and fun. So you mentioned the Museum of Idaho. That's my passion. I've been involved with the museum for about 10 years, and including the changeover of directors. And we actually went through a really tough time because we had an embezzlement, and we were on a financial track that the museum could not sustain itself. So that's my big contribution to the community, is really getting the museum, and I didn't do it alone by any means. There are a ton of people contributed, but the new addition and being able to be open all the time and the new exhibits, I think will make it an institution that's here for a very, very long time. And the
turnaround is really impressive, honestly.
Yeah. And the really cool thing is with COVID, they expect somewhere between 1/3 and 50% of the museums in the United States not to open again.
Oh, my
Because they were
goodness.
so, because
Wow.
a museum is a
Sure.
financial,
Yeah.
it's still a business.
Right.
And it tends to be, like many of us, a paycheck to paycheck business.
Sure.
And so the good news, though, is the Museum of Idaho because we had started that so many years ago, they're in a very good place right now. And unless COVID goes on for another 10 years, I think that the Museum of Idaho will be here.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so that's something I'm very proud of, because that's something for the next generation.
The exhibits are something that I always look forward to taking my children to see, and that I enjoy seeing. And the Museum After Dark events are like my favorite thing. They're so wonderful. And just the value, the educational value that the museum provides to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will do a shout out. The museum's got a really exciting spring coming, because we're doing 2 openings right together. We're doing the Way Out West, which is the new revamped Idaho exhibit.
Oh, awesome.
And that's really what all the people coming through to Yellowstone want to see. They want to understand our area. So we're trying to tell our story and the variety of our story. And then with that, we have a new traveling exhibit. And if you liked Bodies, which was here, I think, 10 or 15 years ago, and that exhibit was our biggest exhibit ever. And we've had people come through and going, I saw this in Chicago. I can't believe it's in Idaho Falls.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So we're doing a companion exhibit to Bodies, and it's animals inside out. So it's animal bodies. So you
cool.
can see.
It's going to be an amazing
Oh,
exhibit.
Amazing. You want to
goodness.
see what the inside of a camel looks like? Come on down.
Oh, that's amazing.
So very cool things coming in the spring. We've just got to be able to open up to more than just 10 people at a time.
Right. Right. Well,
Kind of
here's-
like campus.
Yeah, for sure. Here's hoping that the vaccines coming are going to
Yep.
be really
Yep.
efficacious and good for us.
And-
All right. So you've talked about this just a little bit, but
Yep.
maybe just expand upon it. So describe the partnership between CEI and Idaho National Lab and why that is so important.
Yeah. Well, from INL's perspective, the state of Idaho contributes a big chunk of land. It's federal land that has been withdrawn and supports the laboratory. So we're interested in being, I'm now no longer part of INL. They are interested in being great neighbors. The other thing people don't realize is that the contractor that runs the lab is a not-for-profit company. And so any money that they make either goes into research or goes back to the community. And so investment in community development, economic development in the region, education. You can tell I'm still a little schizophrenic. INEL has an incredible educational outreach. It's in our self-interest because now we're building people that can be our pipeline. We would rather hire
Right.
locally, although we recruit from all over the world. But we would rather hire somebody from here who's tending to have family here and will
Right.
stay here. And so if you can get a world-class job and not have to move, what a fabulous opportunity.
No kidding.
And so trying to build that pipeline for the INEL, but also trying to invest in the community and the quality of life of all of our employees is a win-win.
It's retention of employees.
Exactly.
If they're happy here, they're going to stay here.
Right. And so if you're somebody my age who's looking for their children or grandchildren to have opportunities, I tried to get my daughter a job at INEL, and she said, "Mom, I would love to work there. I would love to be close to you. I don't want to put my daughter into the Idaho schools,"
Oh, wow.
which broke my heart.
Wow.
And so, okay, so what do we need to change?
Right.
We need
Sure.
to change our, if nothing else, the quality advertised, because I think the quality's here, but we have a history to overcome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. That's why we're trying to do all these things to navigate and change. And I think that's important. I think it relates back to that quote at the beginning, right?
I think
We've got
so.
to start here.
We do.
And Linda, I think, is a prime example of somebody who has dug into the community and found ways that we can improve it, and that she can improve it through her efforts. And that's wonderful. So switching gears a little bit, one of the ways that you're doing that, you have begun teaching classes at College of Eastern Idaho.
Yep.
So tell us what you're teaching and what the curriculum is, and how is this beneficial for the community?
I got my official CEI name badge last week. So I am like
Oh, boy.
official. We're doing a government, for workforce training, we're doing a government contracts boot camp. And pretty much it's designed for all the people that are in contracts at INEL to come and learn the basics. And so it's actually a 2-week, pretty much full-time effort, well, half-time effort on this, but a full week of training. They're really good at the process. They don't really understand the why behind it. And last year, INEL spent, I think, $1.8 million billion dollars in small business purchases. So they send out a lot of money. And so understanding how to do that well. So we're going to be doing that in December. And then in February, I'm part of the workforce leadership training for new and upcoming managers in industry. And so I teach professionalism and ethics.
Oh, nice.
And ethics sounds easy, but it's really hard.
It's really hard. Linda has given me some ethics scenarios to kind of pick apart as we were doing our mentoring and for my doctoral program. And I mean, there's some really tough issues that people have to grapple with.
Yeah.
And there's not a clear, right? It's not like, oh, this is what you do.
You mean, don't lie. Okay, I got that one.
Right. Yeah.
No, and in fact, that's the reality. You
Right.
know, how do you navigate life?
Right.
And so most of the time, following your gut's a good answer, but not all the time. So that's really frustrating because you go, just give me the answer. Just give me the answer.
Right, for sure. Okay, so I have the next question for you.
Okay.
So this is about community. So community and about a career path. So community development is a great career path. So is the law. Describe for students how you came to choose your career path and what kinds of career advice do you have for students? Because you've been a lot of things.
Mhm.
You've taken a long and winding path to
Very,
where you're
yeah.
at now, to your retirement.
Yeah. So I would tell you a couple of things. Number one is now more than any time, a lot of the jobs that are going to be great paying jobs haven't been invented yet.
Yep.
You know, when I started, there was no such thing as the web. And now you have web designers.
Right.
You know, we were just talking about it, that data analytics 2 years ago was not a career, but it's an up and coming career. And so that's not to say to be discouraged about whatever curriculum you're in now. What it means is pick the things that you like about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then any new jobs that come along, you can figure out whether they fit. So the joke in my family is I started as a phlebotomist. So shout out to the people that are phlebotomists out there, and wound up a lawyer. Now, the joke in the family is that I started out as a bloodsucker and I wound up a bloodsucker. But you know, but and those seem way far apart. But in reality, things I liked problem solving, I liked interface with people, and I liked science. You know, a lot of logic and science. Phlebotomy has that. My practice of law, where I was always in a science and technology company, had that. So things that I like to do or that really appeal to me have been an element of every single job that I have done. So that's the most important thing, is to know yourself and say, would I enjoy this? If you're enjoying it, you tend to be good at it.
Yeah.
The flip side to that, though, is that if you're super good at everything and you never have any problems and never make any mistakes, you're probably not trying hard enough. You know, I tell all the people that are working for me, particularly the managers, if you're not occasionally making mistakes, you're not risking enough. Making mistakes is one of your best ways to learn.
For sure.
You know, and it's also the best way to stretch your accomplishments. So don't be extravagant, but also don't play it so safe that you never risk anything.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Okay, I just had to put that quote up there.
Yeah.
So Linda, you kind of answered this, but I think there's more to the answer. So I'm still going to ask this question.
Okay.
Talk to us about how your CTE start. So CTE stands for Career Technical Education, for those who don't know.
Yep.
Informed and helped when you decided to go to law school.
Yeah. I think part of it is you learn how to learn is one of the things. And so one of the advantages to me of going back to school, you know, by the time I got to law school, I had 2 kids. We'd been married a really long time. I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew how to study. I knew what was important to spend time on and what wasn't. I knew that perfect grades was not really important. Good grades were important,
Sure.
but perfect grades were not. Particularly in law school, you've got a lot of overachievers. So I did not graduate at the top of my class because I wanted to graduate with kids that still talk to me. So, you know, being able to make those personal career choices are really important, because anytime you sacrifice anything, so whether it's time or money or effort, you need to know why. Why am I sacrificing this? And so there have been several times in my career where I intentionally gave up something. And I knew it was within my power to get it. And I decided that's not what I want. But I was very deliberate about it because I thought this part of my life was more important. So for example, I was in a very senior global company. I was doing very well as an attorney. I had a path to go up and become even more senior attorney, potentially making $1 million a year salary. Would have been gone probably 3.5 weeks a month.
Oh, wow.
Super high stress, super competitive. And while I was far enough into it, I knew I could do it. I looked at it and go, why? You know, that means you make all that money and your family spends it after they divorced you. So,
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
So for me, you know, it was an easy choice not to go there. But I knew why. And so, you know, as you're starting your career, it's really important to know your why. And why is different for every single person.
Absolutely. Wow.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, that's really good. And it goes back to knowing yourself,
Yeah.
right? Just
Which
really,
is what you were saying.
exactly.
Look internally
Right,
and
exactly.
knowing what you want. And what are
Right.
you willing, how much effort are you willing to put in to get what you want? Because it doesn't just
Absolutely.
come, it
It
comes
does
with
not.
work. And when is it too much? When is it too much work?
Yeah. And really, I would also add that nothing's impossible. I mean, from where you started to where you are now, I mean, some people might say that's an impossible bridge to gap. And it's just not when you set your mind to it and you know your why and you figure out what the trade-offs are that you're willing to give and take in order to get where you want to go.
I think being patient with yourself is something I've also seen from Linda. She's not very self-critical, right? Like she's self-introspective. But I think I've seen that in the last couple of years too, even just, I'm not super patient with myself very often, and I'm learning to be, but it does take time.
Yeah. Well, it's an effort investment, it's a talent investment, and it's a time investment. And you got to balance all three. So.
And you don't have to figure everything out right now,
no.
right? You just kind of need to do the next thing that's in front of you. What is that opportunity that's staring you in the face? And take that opportunity while you try to figure out or create other opportunities for yourself.
One thing that I've heard throughout my career is that person was so lucky. They were in the right place at the right time and they got this huge break.
Yep.
And, and when I was starting, I was thinking, how did they do that? And then I realized you get opportunities all the time.
It's true.
But are you in a position to take advantage of the opportunity at the time? And I kind of think of it as, right now we're in Cyber Monday. Great sales going on. Okay, I really want that, whatever it is. This is a great opportunity, but have I saved enough money to be able to take advantage of the opportunity? Is it something that's really cool, but I wouldn't have any use for it? Well, then it's not a great opportunity for me right now.
Right.
And so I think there are wonderful opportunities that open up all the time. The reason why people look so lucky is that they put in the preparation to be able to take advantage of it. So they either saved the money or they invested the time getting qualified for that opportunity, whatever it is. And so it's not about creating those opportunities, it's creating the position to take advantage of the opportunity.
That's really good. All right. Thank you, Linda. So a couple more questions for you. So I know that you have been a mentor, not only to me, but to many people on this campus. And so I would just like for you to talk a little bit about how mentors have played a role in your career development and why it's important maybe for students to think about getting a mentor.
Yeah. I look at it that there's two ways to get value out of a mentor. And one's kind of a passive. You can be very deliberate in thinking about and watch people that you really admire and look at how it is that they're successful. So what is it that they're doing that makes them successful? And that's a mentoring, but it's a very, on the part of the person being watched, it's very passive. But I've had, attorneys are not generally great managers. There's nothing in the law school that teaches you how to be a manager. And so I knew that, but I worked with some of the best managers in the business. And so I just sat and watched them and said, how do they do what they do? Can I do that? Can I try it out? And, so I'm teaching management and leadership now, but it's only because I learned from people who actually knew how to do it.
Yeah.
So the other one is more of an active mentorship. And either the mentor volunteers, which is not really often because most of the people you want to have mentor you are really busy. Or you say, I want to be mentored and I want to be mentored for this reason. And you have to have a plan. It's not just fix everything for me, make me smart. It's, I want to learn this, or I want to have help with this, or I want to have a safe place to talk about whatever. So having somebody maybe that's not in your chain of command to talk about how you deal with that chain of command can be really helpful. You want to be deliberate about picking your mentor, so it's got to be somebody who has something that they can contribute to you. that means experience or knowledge or position or introduce you to somebody or whatever. Most people love talking about themselves.
Huh.
And so if they have time, I find most people are very generous about offering you support, whether it's a lot or a little. But sometimes just a one-time statement can be very powerful for you
Sure.
if you're open to it. So,
We have a question for you.
okay.
Linda, when does your practical life experience book come out? I would like mine signed, please. This is from John, one of our faculty.
Oh, okay.
Now you're retired, you can
Now
write it,
that can
Linda.
start.
There you go. Good question, John.
Thank you very much. I'm flattered.
So I'm going to borrow from Rick real quick, and I'll give Lori the last question. So Rick, well, I can talk. Rick likes to end his presidential forums with 3 leadership principles. And since this is not that, I thought I'd steal that. It came
Good
to me in a
job.
minute. So what are your 3 leadership principles, Linda?
Boy, I have to think about it.
I didn't give you any prep on that one.
Didn't Mike?
Okay. First is even small changes count. And so I try to never pass up an opportunity to do a kindness or a help. What's funny about it is as I was retiring, people were writing up memories. And several of them were, 20 years ago, I was really nervous. I was doing this. Linda came up to me afterwards and said, nobody else is going to tell you, but you did a really good job here. That didn't
Wow.
cost me anything,
Right.
but it was amazing to me how many people remembered it a really long time and that it was meaningful. And any one of us can do something like that in our lives. So don't pass up an opportunity to help somebody else or to do a kindness. Second thing is be patient with change. You want to bring everybody along with you. So even if you see the end and it's glorious and it's perfect, if everybody else can't see it, then, you don't get the support, you don't get the buy-in, you don't get the achievement. So be patient with bringing people along. And as I said, never stop learning.
Yeah.
That's what gets you excited
Mhm.
about getting up.
Is that your third one?
Yep, third one.
Those are really good ones.
Really, really good ones. Really doable ones too.
Very much.
I mean, even small changes count. Be patient with change. Never stop learning. So Linda, I had one more question and it was, what advice do you have for our students? But I think you've just given it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think the other thing about the students is great investment. Even if you don't wind up practicing what you're learning, you will take some of what you're learning now and apply it in all sorts of different ways.
that's right.
I have been astounded about what things that I knew or I learned many years ago, and then suddenly it popped up and it was the answer of a problem later. And so there's no bad investment as long as you can afford the time and the money. There's no bad investment in learning. And so even if you don't wind up going into exactly what you're studying right now, what your objective is, that's okay because it's still value added to you.
Absolutely. It's so interesting because Mike and I both have master's degrees in history. Neither one of us are practicing historians, nor are we teaching history.
But he's at the museum.
I would say he's at the museum, but I would say, but that's a volunteer thing. So what I would say is that just to build on that is, so even though we're not practicing historians, we're not teaching history, the skills, the critical thinking skills that I learned as a historian, and maybe number one is looking at something from all angles, because when you study history, you get to look at it from, say you're looking at a war, you get to look at it from the winner's side, from the loser's side, from the men's side, from the women's side. So you look at it and all of those people view a war in completely different ways. And so you really pick up that skill of looking at something from all sides, that it's not just a just a flat problem you're dealing with. It's got a bunch of different sides and angles. And so that's something that I really appreciate about my history degree. And it goes right along with what you're saying, how it helps me
Yeah.
now and what I'm doing.
So for me, I love science. I've always loved science. Hate math. I'm okay with math, but I hate math. And so when I was in school, I took a lot of math just because I hated it, but I needed to know enough. I will tell you, since I became an attorney, I have never used math. On the other hand, it has been incredibly valuable because people who because I deal with scientists, and people present statistics or they
Mhm.
present things. While I might not be able to calculate it today because I've forgotten most of my math, I can still look at it and go, is that believable? Wait, that doesn't look right. And I can ask really good questions. And then they think I'm really brilliant, and it's I'm math avoiding. But I don't tell them.
Right.
But that
Until now.
until now.
Now the world knows.
Yeah, I shouldn't have put it on video. But I'm retired, so it doesn't matter. But that investment in the knowledge was still valuable, even if I never had to ever do it again.
Right.
Which has been really nice, by the way.
Yeah.
You can tell how much I really don't like math.
Yeah.
But avoiding math would have been a mistake.
Sure.
Well, I also just want to echo that I appreciate the education. I'll never regret any of my educational journey, never stop learning. It has been a tremendous pleasure to have you on our show today.
thank you.
Thank you again to our guest, Linda Montgomery, and thanks again to Vice President Barber,
Thank you.
as always, for joining us. And so I think that's a wrap. I think that's another session of whatever the name of this show is,
Right.
Updates.
Right.
If you have a name suggestion, please send them in. We will
Yes.
take them.
Absolutely.
But,
we don't know what to call
we
it.
don't know
That's
what to call
awkward
it.
because we don't know what to call ourselves.
The Lori and Mike show?
The Lori and Mike Show.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you again, and
Thank you
we
so
will
much,
see
Linda.
you.
It's a
Thank you.
pleasure.
We will see you next week. Our
Yes.
guest next week is Director Haley Holland, our new director for our Mental Health Counseling Center.
So excited. Yeah.
It's going to be a great one, and then we'll have a hiatus after that for several weeks.
So hang in there for the last 2 weeks of class. Thank you for everything you've done to keep our campus safe. Keep safe, keep healthy, and we'll see you in a week.
We will see you in a week. Thank you again. Goodbye.